the broadcast, right? Um, all right, it's going live. Everything looks good.
You want to try to
Just
figure out what Nigel's issue is right now, or
we could
All
and
right, I
Eric,
think I got my camera working now.
yeah, Eric. Um,
I don't think I met Colby. Are you with Movista, Colby?
yes, correct. Yeah, I'm on the marketing side of Movista. Yep.
Okay. Did we lose Eric, or is he still here?
we lost him.
So,
I could.
Mario, in the top right of mine, it says like 3 participants, and then it says 1 in audience. Is that 1 Nigel?
It could be. I'm not sure if it's from the YouTube channel. I think that's from the YouTube.
Colby guest, Jason guest.
Yeah.
2 in audience. So maybe Eric, and now there's 1 in audience.
But yeah,
There's
Eric's
Eric.
back.
I was switching over the desktop app, so I could actually configure
Let me.
this.
Let me message Nigel.
Yeah, this tool is amazing, Mario.
It's really good. It's really
Yeah,
good.
it really is. It's outstanding.
But it's like the first time you come in, it's like it could be like a little daunting, but at the end, it's just like any other call, right? But there are a few things that I can do. For instance, Kobe, don't mind me, but I'm gonna hide you for a second here, and I could hide people. And let's say we have a presenter, like let's say I'm gonna present the show, right? I can start talking and then hide myself, and then come right back in. And probably correct me if I'm wrong here, Kobe, but you heard everything I just said, right?
Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah. So they just stay out, and I can leave just the 2 of you. There are a few things that I can do. I think we have Nigel.
Hey, Nigel.
Hey,
There
can you
he
hear
is.
us okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Hello, everyone.
Why did you
Jackson,
say
I
I'm
heard.
99% uploaded?
there's this thing with this tool, and I actually use it to record. And whenever we have an interview again, I'm going to use the same tool. It uploads high definition video. So even if you start losing and breaking up, it's recording locally on your computer, and then it uploads to the cloud, so we don't lose anything. So if the connection is not really good, at the end we're going to have a really good quality video of it to use on social medias, on everything, right? So it's actually uploading everything that it's recording from our side. At the end, the transmission not so much, but at the end of the any recording, we advise not to close any of the windows, but it's going to be because it's going to be uploading the rest of the content. But that's how it works. That's why it's constantly uploading, right? Let me change the layout. So there are a few layouts that I can use like this, or if you're presenting something, let's say like this, I can, put the presenter view, and this is actually pretty cool. So if you start,
I got you. I understand now. Makes sense. Makes sense.
All right. I'm gonna start broadcasting because then I can send you the link and you can see the final result, but we don't need to record the full thing. Actually, no. Let's leave it recording because then I can use it if I need to go back to it. So
I'm
they're
still trying to figure out how to set up like any background.
So,
or do I need to move to a different place? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I think that I do. I use the same tool that Stan uses, that airtime tool. So that's how I'm able to change my background.
Yeah, but if you go to the top right, there's a an options button, a configuration button, and then you should see all settings there. And then from all settings, you should have the option.
Is this in the browser or in the app?
Which one are you using?
Well, I couldn't get it working in the browser, so I switched to the app. And
So whichever you're using right now.
I can't get the. I'm just clicking around. There's not like anything in this app. It's actually crazy bad. Like the browser was way more usable. Anyway.
But you should have the option there to get the background working. If not, we can talk about that later. I think we'll have like a few more things. I can schedule a time with you, like 5 minutes, and I'll show you how to do it. Either way, there are two things that I wanted to get together today and to discuss. One, I think the most important one is the topics that we're going to cover, right? So we have 30 to 35 minutes. And if we take out the first 2 to 3 minutes and for introductions and, to introduce ourselves, that leaves us barely with 25 minutes. And that's not a long time, right? We can talk about a lot of things, but I want us to like really be laser focused on the topics we're going to cover. And that's the first point, right? So I think we should choose maybe 2 to 3 topics that you both can discuss. And although it says next, we can talk virtually about anything we want, right? And say that we heard that on X, but it's basically any kind of messages that we want to pass along. And then I want to talk about the format, because we can do it presentation style, and we can have a presentation and you show numbers and things like that. Or we can do it a conversation style, more like a podcast. And one of us can be a host, and I can ask questions and both of you answer. And I think that impacts on what topics and what we're going to talk about. And I'd like to hear from you what you think and if you have a preference for that matter.
Yeah, I have, let me see. Let's see. So, big thing obviously was planogram compliance.
Mm-hmm.
Both from the retailer perspective and the manufacturer perspective. Especially for like beverage companies that are paying for space. Am I getting the shelf position and the facings I paid for? And on-shelf availability is a big thing. Like, what's my true OSA? Because, a lot of the folks we spoke to, guys, are, in the candy, battery, very, very like impulse business. A lot of them wanted to understand, what can I do to improve on-shelf availability at front ends? So that's a great use case for ImageRec, and obviously just the overall integration of Monvista and the Vision Group. The other things is, are the stores receiving enough inventory to manage the POS to keep shelf stocks? And then, do I have core item gaps? Just basic blocking and tackling. Then the other thing goes to, you really need to embrace change management, bringing in other departments and stakeholders to drive the change and adoption. And we had a lot of questions around that. Like, the image recognition is great, but if we already have an SFA tool, if we already have a tasking tool, how can we leverage and integrate into that? How do we leverage what the category management team is doing with their strategy and then following through on tactics with, again, a tasking tool or ImageRec? And then the real big thing, and we really need to give this some thought, is what's driving the biggest return? Are people buying the tool and what we sell to save money, or to sell more? So how are people looking at the investment? Is it from the cost saving side? efficiency side, or is it to really help them drive sales? And if you can share examples, that was a big question we got.
Mhm.
And then being able to integrate the realogram data with syndicated data, because you're making decisions with lagging data when you're talking about Nielsen and IRI. So how can we be more proactive in our decision making instead of waiting 4 weeks for results on what we sold, what's declining, what's increasing?
Mhm.
The other one was, is there any way to make it more of a syndicated turnkey solution? Like, can we buy data that you may have already collected if we don't have the bandwidth or resources to go out and collect it ourselves? And then this was a very, very specific one. Is how can we leverage that? This was very broad. How can we leverage technology to unlock better selling within C-Store?
Mhm.
So those are, and I have these written down, Mario. I can share these with you.
Yeah, that'd be great. I wrote them down, but it would be good to see how you wrote them. I like that approach. Do you have any other ideas, Eric? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, so one of the ideas I had written down. I think Jason covered most of them, but I want to talk a little bit about like what shelf intelligence is, because I kind of see a shift of there being these intelligence tasks, which are going and taking a photo of your shelves on a regular basis or using fixed cameras. But the idea that we need to actually gather this data to drive insights, to drive action.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback on what Eric said, we really need to convey it's really about the data, because at the end of the day, that's what we're selling. The technology is just a way to collect it.
Yep.
So, what can we do to help them leverage the data we're providing to drive action? So I like that one a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I've been using the word when I talk to customers, shelf intelligence. I don't know if you like that, but
I love it. I love it, Eric.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So if we kind of say that together and just say, yeah, well, the goal is to drive shelf intelligence to be to use that to do what? Like what do what do they need to be doing? Whether that's restocking or repositioning, or like in the end, there's all sorts of different things that can happen, but they're not. The future is them gathering more intelligence about what's on their shelves, right?
Do you think
Yeah,
that connects?
Go ahead.
Just a quick question. Do you think that connects to the first things that you mentioned, Jason? The planogram compliance, the on-shelf availability, and off inventory. Do you think there's a segue to pull those topics?
Yeah, those are all derivatives of shelf intelligence, like what it means to be shelf intelligent. Like Nestle rebranded our application and called it IntelliShelf, ironically. So, I think Eric is spot on.
All right, because then we have that one topic, and then
and here's the other thing too. General Mills' entire use case is how do shelf conditions impact performance. So that's just another way of we need to be more shelf intelligent. When I'm in position A versus B, do I sell more? When I'm shelf 1 versus shelf 6, do I sell more? When I have these 5 SKUs, do I sell better than these 4 SKUs? So all that speaks to shelf intelligence. But it can't be in isolation, Eric. I think we're only collecting like what the shelf looks like. You have to be able to marry that up with how it's performing. And I think that's the big unlock.
Absolutely.
Integrate and harmonize the data.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the end, you can't just do one without the other. But I think the reality of what is on the shelves is something that's lost. I think people build a planogram, look at things, and want to A/B test and things like that to figure out how to improve product positioning, but then they don't turn around and actually have knowledge of what the shelves really look like.
Yeah, exactly. And there really are two use cases. Like when we talked to Hallmark with Jason yesterday, Eric, their whole thing was about reset compliance and builds. It had nothing to do with, do I have the right assortment? Do I have the right mix? Do I have my share of space? It was just, how can I use a tool or image rec with Movista to help my team reset the shelf so it's more compliant and they can do it more efficiently. Then to your point, I think the bigger play is this whole concept of shelf intelligence and driving what's happening in store, really understanding what you think is happening. And I think, Mario, that might be the overall, theme is like, uncovering the blind spots. I mean, everybody says it, but at the end of the day, that's what image rec and, our integrated solutions all about.
So operationally, there's also some interesting things with if you have better shelf intelligence, and that's picking. Like for one of the interesting things about Hallmark, as an example, I wouldn't want to use Hallmark as an example on the call, but we can try to blind, or on the podcast, but we could try to blind them. But like they're a vendor in a complex solution, but Walmart is selling their product as an online picking, through online picking. And so in those slots, what they call them pockets for the cards, there's a number that ties to Walmart's picking. But if the right card isn't in the right place, the picker will get the wrong card and it'll be returned. And that causes all sorts of problems, right? And so there is a efficiency of a picker, but also the ensuring that that efficiently we get that right card or that right product out to the customer, which you could use shelf intelligence to drive some of your operations picking and stuff too.
Yeah, because they're using the store as a warehouse. So your whole point about BOPIS, buy online, pick up in store, and making sure the product's in the right slot or location, is key. Because if the picker can't find it, they might choose the alternative product, and that's ultimately not good for the customer, the vendor, and maybe not even the retailer.
Yeah, and that's why I like this idea of shelf intelligence, because it can work with the sales data to improve your sales. It can work with the operations to improve your BOPIS, like you said, and then all of a sudden, the thing we're missing is the data about what is accurately on the shelves today.
Yep. Yeah, because you're relying on a 16-year-old to restock a shelf correctly, and good luck with that. That's really what it boils down to.
Yep.
We need to kind of like theme this so we get people, to sign up.
Yeah. I like the whole.
What did we learn at NACS? I don't know who that's gonna excite. I mean, we could say, what did we learn at NACS? And here's 3 big things we're going to talk about, including others. But we got to figure out what those 3 big things are. Like,
I have an idea here, but I actually divided into 3, right? Actually 4. So the main theme would be like what shelf intelligence is. The whole idea of data backing up decisions, right? And data being the driving point. The first one is how to grab the data and the planogram compliance, on shelf availability, and give a general idea of like how data is important, right? The second point that I wrote here, it's what is driving the biggest return. What you said about how people are looking at the investment and how to drive return from that data and how to turn that into actionable things, right? I think it would be good to end with a note with the embrace change management and how to involve the other departments, right? And I think that ties it all together. Then we can leave with a final note, just like how can we leverage the technology to tie all this together and get the best data, get the best input, so that you have like really good output from this input. Does that make sense to you guys?
I like it. I like it.
I got to improve the wording, of course. I was just like writing what you were saying, but I think that could be like a good general idea right behind it. And how do you want to do this? Do you want to make it more formal and have a presentation with slides and things like that? Or do you want to keep it open as a conversation? If we keep it open, ideally, we need a host, right? Or at least someone to ask the questions so that you can answer.
I mean, I always like the fireside chat kind of presentation because one, we don't have to get locked into a certain script, and we can just go where the day takes us, while staying on the key points. And even then, I don't know that we need a host, Mario, because it could be conversational. We can list the topics we want.
Mhm.
And then I can talk about X, Y, and Z and then say, hey, Eric, Nigel, when you talk to X, Y, and Z customer,
Mhm.
did you uncover the same learning? Did you learn something different? Whatever. So I'd rather it not be scripted because it's just not going to sound authentic or genuine.
Mhm. I see.
But I always worry about these things. We really have to say something that, even if it's just one thing people take away that was a new learning,
Yeah.
that's got to be the goal. Otherwise, it's just filling up a half an hour of bullshit to get names to talk to. There needs to be something that people walk away and say, wow, that was, if I didn't learn anything, that one thing was interesting.
I agree.
And I don't know what that one thing is.
What do you think is going to be the biggest trend for 2026? Honestly.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, obviously, AI is evolving dramatically,
Mhm.
dramatically. And there are probably things we don't even think about
Mhm.
that are going to replace what we do and how we think. I mean, one of them obviously is this whole, LLM and, agentic AI, where it's not just regurgitating and recapping information, but it's much more prescriptive. And that's what people are looking for, honestly.
I think that one of the trends I see happening, which I think applies well here, is that I think that we'll see more and more conversations like this transcribed and then put into local, LLMs to feed into the knowledge of the organization, which then drives the ability for like an MCP server that's local to be able to query some of the information. And so when you talk about shelf intelligence, ultimately, one of the great things that occurs is we get a lot of data. That data can be fed into a local, MCP instance, which can then drive questions and answers that people can ask. Like one of the big challenges is how do I consume all this data? And the answer is it's shifting really fast to you don't need to consume it. Your MCP server and your LLM can consume it. That's on your private instance that then you can actually query it and ask. And I think that will happen more and more in 2026. I already see it happening in a bunch of different companies that I'm talking to.
Yeah, I think we're aligned
Do you
there.
think people actually understand what AI is? Because like every sales call we're on, it's always mentioned that we're talking about what we're doing with you guys and that, but no one seems to really get what it is or how they're going to use it, if that makes sense.
Well, great. So that then we should do is say, talk to us if you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to your point, Nigel, I think a lot of people understand AI from a very high level. They just don't know how to apply it. And there's derivatives, there's generative and there's agentic, but that's a whole, in my mind, other topic about I think where the world is going. We need to kind of, it's a big idea, Nigel. I just don't know how we breach that subject in the short time that we have, and then bring it back to what we're selling. Because no offense, guys, I don't know if anything you guys are doing is quote unquote AI driven. And if you are, that's something that should definitely be brought to surface, because the only AI thing that we really have is the computer vision. And then when you look at what we do with Hivery, which is taking all the data and then recommending assortment, that's true AI. But from a Movista application perspective, if I don't know if you're doing anything AI and I'm closer to it than prospects,
Yeah.
something you might want to somehow bubble up during this conversation.
Yeah. I have to be careful because right now we don't have a lot released. So,
Right.
But there are things we are doing around, photo AI validation of, for quality control, for example. We could talk a little bit about that. Just understanding that, was this picture taken in the same place or of the right product, like for work. And so, we get, millions of photos a month. And not everyone, price wise can be sent through AI,
Right.
and so we have to decide what to send and how to do it in an inexpensive manner. Not everyone is of a shelf for planogram. Sometimes it's of a, clean toilet, or something that somebody had to do maintenance wise. But how do you know that did they actually clean the toilet? So there's things like, it's an interesting challenge because we're working on AI for quality control, ensuring jobs were done, which maybe doesn't tie into this conversation for shelf intelligence, right? But there's that side of the nature, and then of course how you define AI, whether it's actually working with generative or other things, is kind of an interesting task, right? So, but we are looking at a lot of our reporting and insights, pushing them through an AI to a generative AI to be able to generate insights as to what has gone on, and that is something that is kind of where we're headed.
Yeah, and the big thing too, Mario, is at the end of the call, because my role is revenue generation. There needs to be a call to action at the end of this meeting.
There will be.
For more information, reach out here, or maybe we even say, hey, we wrote a whole ebook on this shelf intelligence bullshit. If you're interested in it, here's a link. So
that would be great.
What's that, Eric?
That would be great. I like the idea of
So we have this ebook that we're just going to release, but Mario, that's an opportunity to drop it too.
Yep.
To get people to act.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Again, everything we're doing is trying to generate more business. So we definitely need to call to action for sure.
No, yeah, we're definitely going to have that. I'm trying to figure out the best hard CTA we're going to use. Because the book, it's a good idea. It is something that we can tell people and show to people, right? But at the end of the day, we need to have a hard CTA, something that people will actually book a meeting or will get on the pipeline, right? And I'm considering the idea of like schedule a consultation or talk with us for us to analyze your needs or something like that, instead of just like book a demo, right?
I like that.
Turn it into a conversation and a relationship.
Yeah. Do a diagnostic of where we're at. Because at the end of the day, maybe we can't help.
Yep. And I think that'll be a good opportunity to test out a different kind of hard CTA instead of just book a demo.
When is this meeting again, Mario?
This is next Wednesday.
19th,
yeah.
Next Wednesday. Wow.
Yeah. But I'll come up with the wording, and I'll probably have a final slide to show you guys. And yeah, just a final slide with a QR code or something to like schedule a consultation or something, and I'll come up with the wording. So for next steps, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take everything that we talked about and I'm going to turn it into a messaging document, something that we can actually use to promote it. I already posted to your account, Jason. But if any of you could promote it on your personal accounts, the webinar, that'll be great because personal reach, it's usually much bigger than the companies, right? So if you could post it, I can help you come up with a text and write something for you, or you can write it yourself. Just let me know. But ideally, if you could do that, that'll be really helpful. And
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've
and
got
then
a time blocked in to write a go through LinkedIn groups. So there's one like 47,000 in like various different retail and in-store execution, sort of different global groups. I'm going to post it across those tomorrow. So
that'll be great.
So
That'll
is it going to be me, Eric, and Nigel? Is it going to be me and Eric, me and Nigel? Like, who is going to be?
Initially, I thought you and Eric, but we can add Nigel, and we can even invite Joe if you want to, or someone else. The thing is, the time, we don't have a lot of time to have the conversation. So that means if we have 4 people, you need to be very mindful of what you're going to say and how we're going to message that. Mostly because of timing, because we have, again, 25 minutes, right?
Yeah, if we had positioned it like a panel, with Joe and Nigel, it would have been good. But I don't think we advertised it that way, right? Or did we?
No, we didn't. We didn't.
Yeah, and that's a lot to
I think it's
corral for
advertised
people
Eric.
interjecting and stuff. Don't you think, Eric and Nigel? I mean, that's a lot to manage.
yeah,
Like, who's going to say what?
yeah, I think it's been advertised as you guys. So I think
Yeah.
it makes
So I
sense
think
to
we'll
keep
just
it
keep
as
it to me
advertised.
and me and Eric.
I think
something for next
we
year.
both have to come in with this with one funny story. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know you have plenty, Jason, but like, I mean, I like, or just it doesn't do funny, but it has, like an example, something I would say, which is kind of what is the thing that you see that's different at a, or that's been done by a client in the field that just kind of blows your mind, like, or something like that. And like, for example, I was with Hallmark last week in the field, and I wouldn't use their name again, but I mean, I was, with them, and they're sitting there, and we spend, hours setting up everything to the planogram, and then they have these open slots on the shelf, all over the place, and they just start filling things in. So while we set up this pristine planogram, it didn't have all spots, so they said, like most of the companies, they said, hey, we need this to look full, so we're going to fill it in. All of a sudden, we don't really know what's on the shelf, though. The pickers don't really know what's there. So things that we're missing no longer are there. And so if you tell a picker or something like that they have to go to the spot, there's something else there. Likewise, they spent all that time, hours building, out this planogram, and instantaneously invalidated all the data you could use to position it, because nobody knew what was actually on the shelf by the end of their filling in action.
Right.
And so it's kind of one of these, like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. And wait a second. Yeah, that means your data really is invalid. Because we don't know what they did, which may have changed the performance of buyers or the performance of different products.
Yeah, I think coming in with kind of like an anecdotal story is always a good thing.
Yeah.
And you could say a large greeting card company out of St. Louis experienced this.
Well, I don't want to say that because it actually kind of, mars them. But I would just say, I was working with the product companies, stocking shelves, and we spent hours setting everything up perfectly for a Christmas launch, and then boom, at the end it's fill in, and anybody that knows retail, that's what it is. It's fill in. You fill in things that were out of stock or you didn't have, you fill in whatever. And now anything that you had planned may have been invalidated because you don't know what is there.
Yeah, I'll think of something too. Probably have 100 of them, but think of something relevant. So Mario, like, what's next step after this meeting? Are you going to come up with like an agenda, bullet points?
Yes, I'm gonna put this together into a document. I'm gonna send it to you. Just bullet points, something that you can use, that you can have with you uh, during the webinar, during the live transmission. And of course, I'm gonna adapt some of the communication and include those points in the event page, into some of the emails we're gonna send, and those things. But yeah, that's basically
And
it.
we're using this tool, right?
We're using this tool. It's exactly the same link that I sent you. It doesn't
Okay.
change. And I didn't put it. I'll probably change it. I sent you guys an invitation for it on the calendar, but it's good if we join like 10 minutes earlier, just in
Yeah,
case we have
sure.
any issues or anything, and we can solve them quickly, and just a final alignment before we go live.
Should we test this out with a few like audience members? Because if me and Eric had problems getting in, I worry that, a layman, joining from another company that might not be familiar with this tool.
Oh no, but
So
they
maybe
will
like
watch it on.
Monday or Friday, we just get
No.
like maybe a Joe, a Lauren, or somebody, Eric, to, log in as if they were attending the meeting.
No, but actually, who's attending? The attendees, they're gonna see it directly on LinkedIn. They're gonna watch it from LinkedIn. They don't need to log into any tools or anything.
Well, I think we should still test it because this is like new tech to me. So I think we should just definitely test it.
The problem is if you tested it, would be posted on LinkedIn. That's the
issue. It's gonna post to LinkedIn.
But one, I mean, the only way I could think to test it would be to have like a hey, guess what? We're gonna have this chat, kind of like 2-minute kind of like little test if we want to do that or something. To talk about what's upcoming.
And then delete it, Mario.
But then everyone that's on LinkedIn that follows our page, all 16,000 people, will get a notification that we're live.
I'd be lucky that 6 people would join it. I'd be willing to take that chance. But in all seriousness,
Mario, one question for
we don't have to worry about it. Then it was just a thought.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a thought. All right, I
But
think
the attendees, they won't have a
questions,
problem.
Go ahead,
if
Nigel.
people have got questions, will there be a chat on LinkedIn? If people have got questions, will that be on a chat in LinkedIn, or will it show in the chat in here?
It's gonna show on both places. So
Just
if you look on the right side, there's a chat window, and I'll show you. I'll write a chat.
Yeah, I
Yes,
see
this
it.
is going
I
live on
see it.
YouTube right now.
That's a good question,
Give me a
Nigel.
Second.
Yeah, because I've just put a couple of.
Yeah.
I'll put a couple in the chat. That was all.
Mario froze.
Yeah, I think. Can anyone see my questions in the chat or not, or is it? Or
No, I can see it. Can everyone see this?
Yeah, but
Cool.
It seems to disappear really quickly.
can you hear me?
Mine's still there.
Yeah.
All right, so we good? Mario?
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'm gonna send a chat on YouTube. So I've sent a chat on YouTube. It's gonna take a few seconds to get here, but there's a live stream chat. Can you see the hey there popping up?
No. Oh, yep. All right, now I see it. And who is this to?
That is actually from YouTube. And the same thing if anyone asks on LinkedIn, it's going to come straight here, and we're going to be able to see the questions.
Yeah, again, when I'm
And
talking
how do we
about
deal with
watching a
questions?
Chinese movie, you're talking and your mouth is moving. but your words come out like 5 minutes later, like I'm watching Godzilla.
That's a problem, my son. It's just my connection. Um,
Yeah.
but again,
Wow, that's hysterical. Hopefully that doesn't happen today to me.
no, it won't. And I'm not going to be live. It's just going to be you guys. So
Okay.
that shouldn't be an issue. Either way, what I was saying, anyone that sends a question through the LinkedIn chat, it's going to show up here. And you can read those and go through them at the end.
Okay. I'm sorry, I couldn't tell if you were finished talking with the Chinese dub over. Say ching chong, chippity chopsticks. Mario. Wow, that's fucking crazy, man. All right,
It
so
is.
are we good?
I think we're good. I'm not sure if Kobe or Nigel have anything else they want to discuss.
I don't think so. I don't.
Are you planning on posting it to Movista's page?
It is already. We'll do an
It-
updated one like the day before too.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
Tag us on the next one so that I can repost it.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. All right, I got to
think we
roll,
did
guys. I
mention it.
got 12 minutes before my next meeting, and this is my 4th meeting of the day, and it's only 9:45. I need a
Go
quick
ahead.
break.
Sir.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Have a good day, Jason. Eric.
All right. So that is live on your page already?
The post is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the post.
Yeah, it's on the LinkedIn.
All right. Perfect.
Basically, just the version that you guys posted Friday.
Nice. No, perfect. Yeah. I'm posting a few times until the event. I'm sending it to a 5,000 people list called Outreaching, but that's coming out tomorrow.
Mhm.
And we're doing also ABM. So we're reaching out to very specific people that we spoke to and that we reached out to on both on NAX and BWA. And I just started the ads yesterday. We had a few issues with the campaigns. They had a few errors, but we managed to fix them, and we started running ads yesterday. So we should be seeing an influx of attendees, of people coming in.
Cool. And I've
When
Yeah.
you're doing the update,
go ahead.
so I think there's a delay on here. Sorry, mate. You go first.
I was just going to say that we also have an email going out from our HubSpot today to about 5,000 contacts.
Nice.
So anyone in C-Store or anyone in brands that were at NAX or were associated with NAX. So there's about 5,000 people getting an email for it today.
Awesome. That is great.
So the updated questioning or post, when do you want me to push? Wait, let me start again. When do you think you'll get the updated like format for the event out? The reason I'm saying that, because if I'm posting to groups tomorrow, I might as well wait till Thursday or whenever it's going to be done to give the more accurate.
I'm doing it today. Sometime this afternoon. So
Cool.
it
So
should
that's
be
fine. I'll
live.
do it tomorrow. That's cool. I was going to say, Bags, I just move it in my diary, so that's cool. I'll do it tomorrow. Cool.
No, yeah, I want to update it as soon as possible. I only have a few meetings, but after them, it's the first thing I'm doing.
Cool.
All right, guys. If you need anything, just reach out, and yeah, let's keep pushing this and try to get as many people registered as possible.
Sounds
Appreciate
awesome.
your help.
Yep.
I'm just thinking, is it worth us? No, actually, I don't know. I'll settle that one. Doesn't matter. I've answered my own question.
Sure.
Cool.
Ask away.
Yeah, definitely sure.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a
See you
good
guys
one.
in a bit.